Hey everybody, this is Petey from Spinner Rack, and today I'm doing a video on a title that should have been one that lasted forever and was still on to today. The Champions. And you say there's no chance of doing that. You already did a Champions video that didn't blow up. I did Doom versus Magneto that happened in the Champions and it didn't blow up. Well, to give you a little history on the Champions, Tony Isabella had the idea of Marvel's hard traveling heroes. It was going to be Angel and Iceman and have them go on the road and see what they'd find. And the editors told him, can't do that. You have to do a group. You need a strong man, you need a woman, and you need a person who had an existing title, right? So with that in mind, do I have a cover that has all of them on it? I don't know that I do. But the Champions happen to be Angel, Iceman, we have Ghost Rider, Black Widow, and Hercules. And I'm not sure if Darkstar made the cover, but she was also a member of the team. Black Goliath was kind of affiliated. He possibly could have became part of the team, but that's here nor there, right? So we now, right before, well, I didn't remember that before Byrne went to the X-Men, he was on the Champions. So I'm saying that, hey, Byrne's success on the X-Men would have happened on the Champions. I'm not exactly saying that, right? But this is a much maligned team. The artwork is kind of patchy early on. You know, even though it has Bob Hall, has George Tuska, but they feel like they were just doing kind of layouts. And the finishing wasn't really there. So Angel had a bad costume. It's not till Byrne gets on it where they put him in at least a costume that looks like a good costume. Byrne also gave Iceman a costume. So with that said, why do I think this would have been a success, right? Well, I guess I can get right to it, and then we'll go through some of these issues, right? So if I get right to it, the book I had when I was a kid was issue 13, right? So issue 13 is the book I had when I was a kid, and it's along the lines of my favorite books, like I guess X-Men 113, probably some Batman, Babe and Bull, Legion of Superheroes, Superboy, probably a Super Friends, maybe Captain America that my brother had versus the Red Skull and the Night Flyer. This is one of my favorite books as a kid, right? I think I had this off the stands, conned somebody to get this for me, and I read this book to death. It was turned into a ripped up periodical by the time I got through it. You got Camo Tharn, who's the villain. Now, this is ultimately Bill Mantlo at his earliest stage, Byrne very early. And Bill Mantlo, I don't think there are any characters or story bits that they're his own in this story. They're all bits from other characters. This Camo Tharn is he's from a Thor comic. They have the story from the Silver Surfer in here. And the same for the earlier issues, right? So let's go through this, right? The Doom that went on forever. Now now I look at it and say, were they making fun of this thing? So it would be easy if I went through the issue before that, but I'm going to throw you into the fire just the way I saw it. So I got to see all of the Champions, character that I didn't know here. Actually, I met all these characters here, right? I knew Iceman and Angel, but I really didn't, know them that well. And Black Goliath. But it was a very dynamic open, right? I didn't know any of the stories that happened before. And so at the same time, we get some bits here. If you look at if you've ever seen the early issues, we get some bits of story here of the champion's location that Byrne threw in there. That looks really good, right? So Black Goliath tries and sees if he can see what's going on with this thing that's sticking out of the building, and he touches it and he's pulled away. Now we can't tell that he's being pulled away, but they say it in the dialogue, right? And you can see even, well, you can't, I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm just gonna first quickly zoom in. You look at the shot over here of Camo Thorn, right? And they have a thing here, and they said, you know who this bozo is, Herc? Well, he should know, mortal slime. Blind though I may be, never will I forget the cursed voice of, why is it broken up? Hercules. So it's very early in Mantlo and Byrne's stuff, but as a kid, I could care less, right? So Hercules has some knowledge of him. He sends out these beasts, and the champions go into action, right? And Iceman looked pretty cool. I think I was kind of drawn to some of the stuff Byrne was doing. So, and then here, one of my favorite characters, Angel, seeing him take out 2 of these beasts at one time, I loved it. I mean, Ghost Rider is self-explanatory. You can't really get past Ghost Rider being cool, and Byrne did a cool Ghost Rider. I think he was supposed to do Daredevil. He was supposed to draw Daredevil, but he did the crossover with Daredevil and Ghost Rider, and he never got the Daredevil title. But and Dark Star was also hot, right? And I like that one of my favorites, the original X-Men, he was interested in her, so I was interested in her, right? So she's able, and I didn't understand that she used her powers. I don't think I read everything here. I didn't understand she used her powers to hold the portal open, right? So she jumps in with his higher plans to save the day. And Iceman sees her in trouble, and he jumps in, right? And at the same time, Thorn shows what he can really do. He takes him to the depths of hell type of area. And then we cut to the stranger, who I may have seen or may have known. I'm not sure if I knew of him before or seen an issue or cover or something like that. But Black Guy's here to help him, right? But at the same time, these robots come out of nowhere, and Black Guy's doing some good, right? But it ends quickly, right? And then Iceman sees that there's no atmosphere here. And at the same time, this black bubble is obviously Dark Star. And Iceman, Dark Star didn't know that Iceman had jumped in. So Iceman, to save himself, he makes a bubble. But at the same time, to make that bubble, he's completely dehydrated. And I didn't really understand the science of it. But Byrne was the only one who plays with Iceman needing to ice down in different periods in places with no atmosphere. It's really a cool bit. It's like an old school Marvel thing of people running out of powers at different times, right? So then as the champions who still dealing with Camo Thorn, they're just traveling this hell-like area. Angel gets attacked by a demon. Hercules is walking up a firewall and turns into a monster, right? A real cool looking monster. And then we see this border right here of the heroes just standing still, right? And Camo Thorn kind of looking at them, but all this action happening. And then next thing you know, the fire doesn't affect the fire creature and torches Ghost Rider. We see Angel trying to handle this creature that's got his talons, but Angel saying to the Widow not to get involved, and then she, of course, gets taken out. We still see the hero standing, right? And that's a great shot of Ghost Rider. So they are like, Ghost Rider goes, takes that guy right into the fire. Then we see Hercules overcome by the fire also, right? And then As Angel sees everyone finished, we see the two heroes are still alive. But Darkstar is paying no attention to Iceman, right? Darkstar's paying, she's just focused, right? So, Stranger's like, well, you're here. You can stop this bomb. This bomb is going to expand, and then it's going to implode and destroy the planet, right? So we need your help, right? So now the bomb is at its maximum or close to it. It's got a little time, but the Stranger thinks he believes in her. He'd already picked the whole champions. That's why they're in this mess. He picked the champions to do this. So basically, he helps her using her powers to find this staff, Kamotharn's staff, right? And when he gets it, she gets it. He's like, now she must, you can weld it. And she's like, but he's like, nope, there is no other. He said, you've proven able to weld the Madman's staff, so he's using her to save the universe, right? Now she's also a Russian defector, right? So if you had any doubts, because she didn't really show any care of Iceman's life, right? She's been out there to save the world, right? No matter the cost. And Angel's like, this is lies, lies. And then all he has to do is shut his eyes and they'll come back. And I don't know if that's Angel's ability to go against psychic attack, but they're back, right? And then Kamotharn is still alive and he's ready to attack again, but Angel's like, I've had it. And he puts him down immediately. And at the same time, we have Darkstar welding the staff, and she just gives this bomb extra power to expand. And he's like, wait a second, we were trying to stop it from expanding. He's like, nope, we're gonna make it expand so far that's gonna be non-existent, right? So then the Stranger sends the heroes back. They've saved the day and saved the Earth. This like any other super team does. This is the first time they've saved the whole galaxy, right? And Iceman is a little struggling that that the girl that he liked showed him no interest during this time. But hey, it was the world of them. So she did the right thing. Sad to say. And then, of course, some of the dialogue here talking about her being a defector and saying that to the widow, and here Hercules struggling with the people belonging and all this stuff. It's like just having the Marvel kind of conflict. Now you say, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, obviously, Byrne, put a lot of life into it. It looks good, right? But they're still champions, right? Well, I say wrong, right? Now, I put this one up to you guys, and y'all, what did Jay-Z say? Y'all all lamed out. But what I missed in here, actually, I didn't miss it. When I looked at it before, I saw this here and I read it and I was surprised, right? So I want to say to you, the way comic books get made a lot of times is, if you have a comic book, you have a series, and you introduce, say, the Legion of Superheroes, right, in Superboy or Adventure comic books. If people wrote in letters, they would make it into a comic book. That's how they knew, well, Supergirl, a lot of people wrote in, let's make a comic book out of it, right? So imagine this on your hands, right? You're Archie Goodwin, you just decided you're putting Byrne on the X-Men, right? You want that to go monthly. This you were trying to get monthly, but you've already decided to take Byrne off this, put him on the X-Men, right? So, but then the letters came in from issue 13. So, when we look at this, people, we're going to say something now that comes from the heart. That something is thanks. The incredible outpouring of mail on Champions 13, while too incredible for us to answer all the many accolades and questions, touched us in a way we've rarely been touched before. When John and Bill took on the book, we knew we had a winner, and we hope you would agree. And you obviously have, and we love you for it. Now, of course, Champions 15, last issue, marked John Byrne's ascent from Marvel's newest supergroup. No one misses the Cosmic Canadian more than Bill, but John has gone off to be the half of the Claremont Byrne Limited, the new team dedicated to turning Marvel's masterpieces such as X-Men, Marvel Team Up, and Power Man. We wish them the best of luck. So where does that leave the champs? And they say they're going to get a new artist, which is Bob Hall, right? So there you go. You get the announcement that there's an outpour of letters for the champions on issue 13. Like somehow this issue, they read it and they picked up. Now this meant you should go monthly. They should stick with the team. But Byrne was moving over to the X-Men and he was a 3-book-a-month guy. And I think ultimately he was uneasy with the champions. But I just wanted to do that for you guys to say there was a chance the champions, it always gets, most people reporting, they report all the best things, all the toughest things about the title. But ultimately, the fans spoke. They tried to put their word in, but issue 17 is the last issue, and hopefully I can get issue after 17 so I can read the letter page there. But these comic book exposés that people are doing now, they need the letter pages to kind of complete the thing, because you don't know what goes for or against. Saying these guys are wacky, the team doesn't work, yeah, I get it. But at the same time, issue 13, the mojo is working. Issue 16, you got the Avengers, and you got the Beast, Magneto, Doom, and the Champions, and the Hulk. Like, you got more guest stars than possible. So, you know, there was some life here, but it wasn't to be. Spinner rack out.